Went all in, play my cards right. Up the ante, won blackjack all night. Roll the dice, let it ride. What are the odds I got snake eyes?
With your LinkedIn profile, the thing we want to look at is the actual first thing that most people see besides your name and your image, and that is your actual job title. But it's not necessarily your job title, it's what you do. And I think people need to understand that when you say that you are the SVP at this company, people really don't know what that means. In some senses, yes, they might. But what is it that you do and how can you help someone out? And I think that's the thing that we have to get across. You could be the president or the owner or the whatever, but what is it that you do? Do you help business owners? Do you help people? Do you help families? And when you do help them, what do you do to help them out? It doesn't have to be very descriptive because, of course, it's still going to lead to more questions. And I think that's the thing we want people to get after is we understand that when you say what it is that you do, someone might have a follow-up question, but that's great because it's a conversation starter. But when it's like you're the SVP of XYZ company or the president of XYZ company, to many people that doesn't mean anything. It doesn't mean your company's not any good. It just means that really don't understand what that can do for someone. So when they're doing searches or they see your name pop up on their LinkedIn feed, they can get a better understanding of who you are. To take that one step further, it goes into what do you post on LinkedIn? And this is the second thing I want to talk about. People have a hard time, they've come to us and say, well, what do I actually post on LinkedIn? You have content, you have this, you have that, but you're trying to keep a central theme going. And I think the best thing you can do is post stuff that is related to what your message was in your profile as to what you do. And if everything falls in line there, it makes a lot more sense as people come across your LinkedIn profile to say, oh, I get it. This person does this is how he helps people, and the content that he's posting or that she's posting is all related to that. So it's get this common theme that I talk about a lot on this podcast, for example, is all these entrepreneurs that we're talking to have this common theme with their interests, with their passions, with what they do in business and how they help people. And I think if you do the same exact thing on your LinkedIn profile, now it really starts making sense because that LinkedIn profile that you've built out and the things that you talk about, you might talk about them slightly different in a different platform, say Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, but really at the end of the day, it is a very similar platform. It's a very similar message that you're getting across, and you get that common theme. So when someone sees you in these different settings or networks or even out in the real world or on the phone or in an email, they're getting that same vibe from you, and they really start to understand, I really see how this person can help me out, and I want to talk to him more about those types of things. So remember, going back to the LinkedIn profile, the first thing we talked about is truly put out there what it is that you do. It's going to be open-ended, as I said, but that should be the focus of it, and not really the title and the actual company that you work for, although there could be times where that could be appropriate, but most of the time it should be really what it is you do. And just for an example, like I help business owners with content marketing and insurance. What does that mean? Great question. And then we can get into this because we do content marketing, we do insurance, and we like to help business owners, entrepreneurs. Obviously, it's what we do on this podcast. So that rings true to people, and people understand it. It's very simple, it's very easy to understand. It might lead to more questions, but that's great because that's a conversation starter. So that would be the first thing I would say is really dive down into what is at the essence of what you do on a very simple level. That's what you should post. And then any content that is related to that is what you're going to actually put out on LinkedIn, and then carry that message across all the different social platforms.
Went all in, play my cards right. Up the ante, won blackjack all night. Roll the dice, let it ride. What are the odds I got snake?
This podcast exists in large part because of KazCM, the content marketing business inside KazShort Inc. KazCM is excited to bring the content marketing services used at KazShort to you. Learn more by visiting KazCM.com. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. It's a big deal to us. We hope you found value in it, and if you did, we would be incredibly grateful if you gave us a review on iTunes. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and feel free to share it with anyone you know. More than anything, thank you again for listening. We appreciate it.